Hey everyone, happy Friday. It's day 5 of BBB, Build Your Body, Belief, and Bank Account. I can't believe we're already to the end of the week. This week has flown by. Oh my goodness. And I am so excited and grateful that so many of you showed up every single day, either live or watched the replay and commented, and you really played out at 100%, just like I asked you, keeping your hearts and your minds open, and I just so appreciate that. So couple deep breaths before we get started, then we're just gonna, hey, I know, I can't believe it. This week has just gone by so fast. Let's take a couple deep breaths, get ourselves centered, let go of any negativity or stuff that's hanging out. Let's just let it go for this next 20-30 minutes, and we'll get started. Okay, so let's take a big inhale in and exhale. Big inhale in and exhale. Nice. Before we get started, I just want to share with you guys that when I started thinking about doing this, I've been thinking about it for a long time and just never would really pull the trigger on it, and finally decided to do it. And I don't mind telling you guys that I was super nervous going into this because it's, not something that I usually talk about or teach about. So, I'm all about health and wellness and fitness and healthy aging and all that fun stuff. But this has also become such a passion of mine as well. And I appreciate you letting me be on here with you and hanging in here for these last 5 days. So I appreciate it so much. And I'm not nervous anymore. So, so thank you for helping me. I appreciate it. Anyway, so let's talk about a little bit of review from yesterday and rewriting your money belief story. So, definitely an emotional roller coaster ride for me too, because, as I was going through all of the content, of course, it was bringing up stuff for me that I remembered. So, yeah, totally emotional. And I think that's where, good stuff starts to happen, is when we understand why we are the way that we are. And then we can set about changing those things. So before we jump into just kind of our wrap up, let's talk about your money belief stories. So what kinds of empowering money statements did you come up with yesterday or last night? I'd love to hear them. Thank you, Anne. I really appreciate that. So go ahead and type in your new money belief statement if you feel comfortable. If you don't, that's cool too. Is it maybe money is coming to me all the time? I learned to let go of money when I need to, all sorts of stuff. Hey, Dory. So let's think about that for a second. And as you are thinking about your statement and commenting, let's just talk a little bit about what we have learned this week. Holy cow. Yes, it was. And I am living a life of abundance. I love it. Yes. Hell yeah, you're worthy of being wealthy, Anne. Oh my goodness. We all are. So we talked a lot this week. There's a lot of stuff we went over. So the first couple days were all about our body belief and limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves in relation to our body, and how so much of that comes from prior programming that we don't even realize we have a lot of times. So really, we dug deep to figure out what it was that maybe has held us back from having, the body change, or being able to maintain body change and things like that. So, my goal throughout this whole week, throughout this topic, is for you guys to understand that you can have the best tools in the world, right? So you can have the best diet and the best exercise plan. But if you don't have the belief and the thoughts behind being successful, what you need to be successful, then it's really going to be hard to reach your goals. So, and I truly, truly, sincerely believe that this is the key that we're missing when it comes to, I mean, because what are the two things that people struggle with the most, generally speaking, and that is body change and that is financial stuff, right? So I truly believe that if we can get a handle on the belief component, then that's going to help us be successful, take the actions to be successful, and keep taking those actions. So it's not to say that you're not gonna fall back into old patterns, and you will. That's just we're wired that way. It's very easy to fall back into old patterns, but the difference is this time you can recognize it for what it is and say, you know what, I might fall back into my old pattern for a bit, but I'm not going to wallow here because I know what's happening. I know it's my subconscious just trying to hold me down because it is trying to let go of all of this old programming, and it just hasn't quite gotten there yet. So it's a constant cycle of learning and relearning and reprogramming. So it doesn't happen overnight. And, like I said yesterday, 5 days is, we have barely scratched the surface here, but hopefully it's been enough for you to start thinking and being aware. And that's really such a huge percentage of this process, is just being aware. So we talked a lot about LTSG, and I kind of turned that into a verb. So whenever you're feeling, you feel yourself getting sucked into your limiting beliefs, you're starting to blame others, you're starting to look outside yourself for validation, all of those things that we talked about, LTSG it. Just say to yourself, I am choosing to LTSG this. And for me, I don't know, it's just the mere act of saying that, either out loud or to myself, it's like a breath of fresh air. And there have been, I think I told you earlier in the week, there have been a few times this week where I almost got caught up in some senseless drama. And you guys, I do not like drama. Drama, ugh, And but I found myself kind of getting a little sucked in, and I finally just, had to sit back and say, I choose to LTSG this. And immediately it's just like, whew, right? So LTSG, key. Forgiveness, and that is, I believe if I do this again, the second iteration of this is going to be, I'm definitely going to include a section about forgiveness for sure, because we talked a lot about that, and that is another key for moving forward, is forgiving those in your past who have shaped those beliefs that maybe aren't serving you, letting them off the hook, letting yourself off the hook, forgiving yourself. So crucial. So we talked a lot about that. We talked about self-love, what it is, what it isn't. We talked a lot about yesterday and the day before about there are really only two emotions, and one feels good and one feels bad. So of course our goal is to be on the good side of the equation most of the time, and there's of course we can't do that all the time, but and our goal is to be as far up the chain as we possibly can. And I love this. I follow Abraham Hicks and have read a lot of the books from Jerry and Esther Hicks, and that was kind of what really got me starting to think about all this stuff several years ago. But so they have what's called the emotional guidance scale, and so you break down your emotions. There's 22 different emotions. So at the very top of the scale, number 1 is joy, appreciation, empowerment, freedom, love. And that is where you are. That's the top of the line. That's you just are so happy you can't stand it. And we've all been there at some point, I believe. At some point, at least one time in our life, we probably had that, just like, oh my gosh, I feel, this is so wonderful. And then at the very bottom, very bottom, and this is interesting, the very bottom of the scale, remember there's 22 rungs of this ladder. So at the bottom of the scale, get this, is fear. Fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. So that's very interesting that fear, and fear is what, is right up there with our beliefs. So a lot of the times what holds us back from changing our limiting beliefs and really stepping into our power is fear, right? So that's the bottom of the emotional guidance scale. So the thing is you can't just go from fear from the very bottom to the very top, right? You can't just all of a sudden turn a light switch on and you're joyful. So what you can do though is you can start to work your way up the ladder, and I'm going to send this graphic to you so you have it. It's so good. So the next rung up the ladder from fear is insecurity, guilt, and unworthiness. If you can feel just a little bit better and just go from being fearful and depressed to maybe feeling unworthy, obviously not ideal, but it's better than the lower rung. So you just work your way up the ladder, and it's a process, definitely a process. So sometimes I'll look at this chart if I'm feeling, a little weird and just I'm feeling on the bad side of the equation as far as emotions go. I'll look in this list and say, okay, what am I feeling right now? And then I can look at it and say, you know what, I'm going to shoot for the next higher vibing thought. And that, it really does help. So I'm going to send this to you, and you guys will have it. It's really good. So what else has come up for you? I'd love to hear. Yeah, and I'm going to send you a copy of that ladder. It's really good. What else has come up for you this week as far as anything that we've talked about? And yeah, I mean, you guys, everybody, so many of you have come through hell and back, and that has definitely shaped who you are today. It's just a matter of, okay, am I going to let this dictate, the rest of my life and hold me back from true happiness and joy, right? So I think we have to get really conscious of that. And a couple quotes. So, you guys know that by now that I love quotes and images. So this one is about forgiveness, and it says, when our minds move in harmony with love through forgiveness or prayer or the simplest tender thought, then mountains move and the universe shifts. And that's from Marianne Williamson. I'm actually going to share another quote from her in just a few minutes. But actually, all of my quotes today are from Marianne. How about that? The second quote is, if you're busy regretting the past, then a new future can't come in. Whoa. Mic drop. So, I mean, I'll share these with you so you can have them, keep them close by whenever you need some inspiration. But, the fact of the matter is, and you guys know by now, I've used this quote so many times over the past few weeks. For Barb. Oh, yes. Yes. So I would like to, actually, I'm so glad you mentioned Barb, because I want to give a shout out to Barb. I don't know if you're on here, Barb. Are you on here? I can't see. Can't tell if she's on, but I'm not going to share too much about her journey because it's hers to share, but a lot of you know that Barb has been going through chemo. She is kicking cancer's butt. And I will tell you, and I might get choked up here because she is just such a light. Her journey, just from the very beginning of when she was diagnosed, has been so inspirational. She has just, oh my gosh, taken everything that was thrown at her and made it, was so positive throughout the whole experience. And, having been through, with two parents who passed away from cancer or a cancer-like illness, I honestly, she's just a miracle to me because it just of her mindset. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that she has kicked it. And a lot of that I know is not just the awesome medical care that she's getting, but it is the power of thought and the power of faith. Exactly. And she definitely has a very strong faith. And I just can't say enough wonderful things about Barb Kaiser. So, and all of you really, but just a recent battle that she's dealing with. And she has just continues to amaze me every single day. So, and so many other people. Anyway, kind of got off track there for a second, but I'm actually going to save the other quote until we finish up. But so I want you to be thinking about what things have come up. Hopefully you have had some good value come out of this training. I would love to hear from you all about that, and that is what I want to talk to you about. So I talked about at the beginning of the week, if you hung in with me through the 5 days and you played all out, which you all did, if you kept your minds and your hearts open, which you all totally did, and I'm so appreciative that there was going to be a little surprise giveaway at the end of the week. So here's what I'm doing and what I need from you. So I would love to hear from you via email, and I'm going to I'll send out an email in just a little bit with all the details, so don't feel like you have to remember everything. I would love to hear from you via email, some insight that you gained, something that helped you with this, during this 5 days, how you think it will help you going forward, if there was anything that you wanted to hear more about, and everything like that, whatever your thoughts are, just a few sentences. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And for doing that, I'm going to pick one person who will receive their choice of any of the books that I mentioned this week. So we've got, of course, this is my favorite, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. There was the Book of Affirmations by Noah St. John. I don't have a copy here with me. There was that one. A couple more that I didn't mention, but that I really love. Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein, really good. One that I'm now just reading, I just got it last week, is You Have 4 Minutes to Change Your Life by Rebecca Barucki. It's all about how you can really just start to meditate in 4 minutes a day. So any of the books that we've discussed, I'm going to pick one winner. You let me know which book that you would like, and I will send it to you via Amazon. So I'm just reading Jenica's. Yeah, wow. That's so good, Jenica, that you have a sense of peace. It can take a long time to get there. It truly can. But I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's like I said, we've all had our stuff. We've all had stuff that we've dealt with and gone through. And I think that the thing to remember is when you start working on this stuff and realizing what's been holding you back, and the people around you are still kind of staying the same because they're not doing this work, and it is work, right? And they're not doing this work, that can be challenging. I mentioned this in the workbook. So what you don't want to do, and it can be hard, when you start to notice things within yourself, it's going to be easy for you to start to notice things in others and understand their patterns, right? So what you don't want to do is start talking to people and telling them what all their problems are and why they have them, right? So when they don't really understand yet or aren't quite open to hearing it yet. So you don't want to do that. But what you want to do is surround yourself with people who do get it and do understand it. And that's a lot of the reason why I did the Facebook group, is so that would be a safe space where you could share insights and how you're moving forward and all of that stuff. Not while, mentioning the limiting beliefs and the past stuff, but not hanging out there, right? So getting further and further up that ladder, Okay? So, now I'll share it. One of my favorite quotes from the You Are a Badass book. And you guys, like I said, I don't use a whole lot of profanity, but sometimes it's just appropriate. So it's not your fault that you're fucked up. It's your fault if you stay fucked up, okay? And that's some tough love. And again, it's not to minimize anything that anyone has been through, because everyone has their stuff, but it's just knowing that we have the tools available to us to actually move forward. And then finally, I'm going to leave you with my favorite Marianne Williamson quote. And I'll send this to you as well. And as I'm reading this, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to read it again a different way. Okay? All right, here we go. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So powerful, wouldn't you agree? So I'm going to read it again. And this time I'm going to read it in the first person, okay? And I'm going to send this to you, and I want you to do the same thing, okay? My deepest fear is not that I'm inadequate. My deepest fear is that I am powerful beyond measure. It is my light, not my darkness, that most frightens me. I ask myself, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who am I not to be? I am a child of God. My playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around me. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that was within us. I'm going to reread that. I am meant to shine as children do. I was born to make manifest the glory of God that is within all of us. It is not just in me, it's in everyone. And as I let my own light shine, I unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As I am liberated from my own fear, my presence automatically liberates others. Do you see how much more powerful it is when you do it in the first person? So I'm going to send that to you, and I would encourage you to read that every single day. I actually had it posted. I rewrote it in first person and posted it on my bathroom mirror for a long, long time. And so every morning when I got up, I would read it. So highly recommend doing that. Again, you guys, I am so grateful for you. So grateful that you, Shine Sisters, that's right. So grateful that you showed up. You really, really took this seriously, and I so appreciate it. Couple of you have asked about, a part 2. And I would say just, keep an eye out for that, because there could be some stuff coming down about that. I really do feel that this is a message that everyone needs to hear. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Again, I'm going to send out an email, and you can just reply to that, and one of you will get the book of your choice. Okay? So as we wrap up, I'll keep an eye on the comments and answer those as we go out throughout the day. Otherwise, oh my goodness, I'm kind of sad. I am sad, actually, that this is the end of the week. I've so enjoyed being with you this week. And I hope that you got great value out of this and learned some things about yourself. And let's just go out and rock this life, because we all are worthy and deserve it, right? Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate you. I honor you. And we will talk to you real soon. Take care.